All right, so this is how this works in their favor when you don't have the full story of the truth. You already know that these stories take place in the same land, okay? Ancient Mesopotamia for both sides. Now that you know that, and that was not an easy thing for them to hide. They don't necessarily advertise that because they know that they can't hide it. It's simply recorded. And I'm going to show you the parallel between the biblical record and the Sumerian record, which will further solidify this understanding in your mind that, yeah, this is absolutely running parallel. So this is what they needed to do. They needed to get this out of your mind, that Lucifer, Satan, and the devil were three separate identities. They needed to get that out of your mind. That was the whole reason why they don't reveal these as three separate identities. But in your biblical search, if you're a very serious biblical student of the truth, you'll find out that the Bible will reveal that, yes, they are three separate identities. But one of the reasons why keeping this from you is so important, that they're three separate identities, is because this story takes place in the same lands, as I said. So if the story takes place in the same land, if you realize that these beings are three separate identities, it would be no problem for you to make the connection to these three beings right here. And that's exactly what they don't want you to do. Think about that. Because if you do, what you're going to find out is that there is a record of this ancient time, of this early ancient rebellion on our planet. And then it does record these three beings that are responsible for the rebellion. Just like the Bible records these very same three separate named, titled identities. The very same as we see over here. The very same title roles, right on down to this Lord of the waters, right on down to the devil, which is the Lord of the abyss, which is these polluted waters. So you have to understand that somebody does not want you to recognize these as three separate individuals, because it would be far too easy for you to make the connection to this Trinity right here. Now, what they're going to want you to do is that they're actually going to want you to not understand these three identities, and they're only going to want you to recognize these three identities, and now they're going to try to combine that identity with Yahweh. They're going to try to say that this is Jesus, and they're going to try to say that this is Enki. That's exactly what's happening. That's exactly what's happening. Now you're going to see how this relates back in the flood record, because they have recorded in the flood record that Enki is the one who tries to save mankind. And you're going to find that in a Sumerian tablet titled Atrahasis. And we're going to look into that. So by this supposed Sumerian record is going to state that Anu conspired with Enlil to destroy the world with the flood. But Enki didn't want it to happen. We already know now that Enki ain't a good guy, because here we have one of his sons, Marduk, which is representing further his father Enki with the Lord of the Flowing Waters. So you know that this is all connected to this deception to destroy the Christians, symbolized with the conquering lion, taking the lion's head off, and then the return of the serpent, which is the Nahesh, which is going to be this representation of Enki, Marduk's father. So you know right here, there's our little behold a pale horse right there. You know right here that this Enki is not a good guy. But they're going to want you to believe that Enki is a good guy. Well, if you follow my work and you see how he connects to Leviathan, the crooked serpent, and then you see how he's connected to these stages of these world ages to bring about this Anu world order, and then you look at this document right here from ancient Babylon, Iraq, you can see Enki ain't a good guy. But they don't want you to understand this document. Well, I do want you to understand this document. So right now you're going to understand that as you see coming with this strong delusion, they're going to try to pair this up as Yahweh, they're going to try to prepare this up as Jesus, and they're going to try to prepare this up as Enki. I'll come back to explain.